Drew McIntyre just made his return, so we'll see everything that's surrounding his big return to WWE. We'll also check out what's going on with Randy Orton, the Judgment Day, and more. Let's start things off with a major return from Drew McIntyre. Drew has been completely missing from WWE ever since WrestleMania 39. He took to Twitter after that WrestleMania match to post a tweet of the waving hand emoji, and everyone freaked out because fans were curious if Drew was implying that WrestleMania was his last WWE match. So then, Drew McIntyre vanished from WWE television, and there was nothing but back and forth reports regarding his status. Some reports were saying that it was a creative issue, that Drew McIntyre and WWE weren't coming to an agreement on a contract extension, and so on. But Drew McIntyre was still part of the 2023 WWE draft, and was drafted to Raw. And him being acknowledged and part of the draft was a good sign that he was in fact returning to WWE after all. So fast forward 3 months later and we get to Money in the Bank. A lot of fans were looking forward to Matt Riddle versus Gunther because there's been nothing but big rumors and buzz going around about Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, and other big-name superstars being on the verge of returning. We didn't get Randy Orton at Money in the Bank, but we did get Drew McIntyre's long-awaited return. Drew McIntyre came out for the first time in several months to confront Gunther and put him on notice that he's still coming after him and the Intercontinental title. So it was a nice return spot for Drew McIntyre. Drew has been a big advocate for trying to get more and more WWE premium live events to be hosted overseas. So it was nice for him to make an appearance on one of those rare overseas premium live events. Drew's goals appear to be very similar to when we last saw him back in March and April. He still has his eyes set on the Intercontinental title. And Drew McIntyre is the perfect big threat for Gunther. Gunther is looking extremely unstoppable. There's not that many individuals on the Raw roster that seem like they can take him down. But Drew McIntyre definitely seems to be one of the selected few superstars that has a solid chance of taking Gunther out. Drew McIntyre has defeated Brock Lesnar. He's gone at it with Roman Reigns and so many more top superstars. So if anyone has an opportunity of stopping Gunther, it's most definitely Drew McIntyre. Drew's most recent match in WWE was technically against Gunther for the Intercontinental title, but it was a triple threat with Sheamus also being involved. Drew didn't really get a full shot at Gunther one-on-one for the Intercontinental title, so this could be his opportunity to get that done. So Gunther versus Drew McIntyre is looking like it'll take place at Summerslam, and that'll be a very interesting match that could go either way. Maybe Drew McIntyre's return gets off to a hot start, with him defeating Gunther for the title right away. Or maybe Gunther keeps his historic title reign going by adding Drew McIntyre to his list of victims. Also going on within the same storyline, Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle have formed a temporary alliance to fight off Gunther and Imperium. As many fans have pointed out by now, Drew and Riddle still need to add one more individual to their group in order to have a fair shot against Imperium's 3 members. A lot of fans are suggesting Randy Orton to be the 3rd member. If Randy joins them, he'll be reuniting with his old partner Matt Riddle. And Randy even has a lot of recent history with Drew McIntyre as well, so he does fit in. So that's something that fans are keeping an eye on. Who will be that 3rd individual to step up and help Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle? Will it be a big return, or will they grab someone that's not up to much on Raw? As far as Drew McIntyre's WWE status, Triple H downplayed all the rumors and buzz that was going around about Drew McIntyre at Money in the Bank press conference, implying that he's only been out of action recently for injury-related reasons. There's still no official word on Drew McIntyre and WWE reaching an agreement for an extension to his deal, but reports claim that due to the last few months of action that Drew missed, WWE could most likely add that time back to his contract and have him signed until right around WrestleMania 40. And at that point, Drew McIntyre could possibly sign a new deal or test the free agency market if he so pleases. So that'll be a big situation to monitor over the next few months and heading into 2024. It was recently another big week for the Judgment Day. They may not be on the same level as the Bloodline, but the Judgment Day has a lot of the same story qualities going on. They're technically one unit, but there's just so many subplots, different stories, and new tension developing within the group, and that's making them a lot of fun to talk about. So let's get into the latest with them. Damian Priest, Dominik, and Rhea Ripley came out to confront Seth Rollins, and Seth immediately addresses the issues within the Judgment Day. He points out how Finn Balor isn't with them. And this is true. Ever since the Judgment Day has been together, they all usually come out together with these promo segments, especially when 75% of the group is already out there. So Finn not being out there is a clear indication that he didn't resolve his issues with Damian Priest after Money in the Bank went off air. So then we get to Raw's main event, and it's Dominik Mysterio taking on Seth Rollins. Damian Priest eventually gets involved and causes the match to end in disqualification. It seems to be setting up a perfect cash-in for Damian Priest, but Finn Balor makes his first appearance of the night to attack Seth Rollins and accidentally knock down Damian Priest. Seth Rollins is able to roll out of the ring and escape before Damian Priest could try and cash in again. This leaves the closing shot of Monday Night Raw to be Finn Balor and Damian Priest once again arguing, while Rhea and Dominik are on the floor looking confused and lost. Damian points out how Finn ruined his cash-in and how he'd be champion right now if it wasn't for him. Finn responds by telling him the same exact thing. He says that he would have been champion right now if it wasn't for Damian Priest getting involved with his match at Money in the Bank. So, despite the Judgment Day downplaying their issues, it's obvious that they have a massive situation on their hands right here. Finn and Damian have now both costed each other a golden opportunity at the world title, and they're both extremely furious about it. So this doesn't seem like something that the both of them will forget about by next week at all. This is gonna linger, and it could surely get ugly. Remember that the tension between Damian and Finn has been going on long before Money in the Bank. It all started that night on Raw, where Finn Balor came out to ringside after Damian Priest specifically told him not to come out. It was that exact moment where Finn and Damian have been growing more and more apart. They try to squash things a few weeks later, telling themselves that it was Seth Rollins who was driving them apart. But we now see that Finn and Damian are clearly driving themselves apart. And it's no longer anyone else's fault. It's something just between the both of them. Fans believe that this story could be heading one of two ways. Either Finn Balor ends up leaving the Judgment Day and heads off to do his own solo thing, especially since he's been acting like a lone wolf in recent weeks, or Damian Priest is the one who leaves the Judgment Day. He has the Money in the Bank. Maybe he feels like that's all he really needs anymore, and he's the one that steps away. So we'll see what ends up happening there for the Judgment Day. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.